Oh well, Hurricane Florence, it begins. So what am I doing? Stuck in the house, listening to records. So I thought I'd give you an update because so many of you have come to the first part of the A's, and I figured what the heck, you know, enough of you showed interest to where I figured I would do part two, which is all about the B's, right? But yeah, Hurricane Florence just starting in my area. Supposed to really get bad after dark. Hopefully we'll still be here tomorrow. That's up to the big man. Let's get in there to the records. What you came for? Alright, in here at the records. All set up, ready to go. Now, as I have mentioned before, my records run a wide gambit of sounds, qualities, all that stuff. Some of them are mine. Well, let's just say 98% of them are mine. Some of them belongs to the wife. So it's our collection, even though it's not truly a collection. It's just music that we like to listen to. So with all that said, the way I put mine in order is so I can find them easily. Like this being the section B's, it could be the beginning of the band name, like the Beach Boys, or it could be the first letter of the person's name, so it's easier for me to remember them, or what have you. So just don't get on me about them not being in true alphabetical order or by year or by genre. That's not how I do it. It's not how I'm going to do it. I am just here to share what I have to you guys, to see if there's anything that you like, that you have just like it, or that's better, or what, you know. It's just sharing is all I'm doing, basically. So without further ado, the first one up is Bachman Turner's Overdrive 2. This one is on the Mercury label. And I'll try to tell you what label they're on and everything as I go. Of course, when I was growing up, everybody saw the movie Back to the Future. And they have a huge cult following. And this is no different. This is the soundtrack from it. I don't even know what label this is on. Let me see if I can find out real quick. MCA. This is on the MCA record. Back to the Future soundtrack. Gotta have it, right? The power of love brings back memories of the movie every time you hear it. Bad Company. Now see, I could have put this over in the C section because Company, see, yada yada. But anyhow, Bad Company, their Straight Shooter album. And this one is Bad Company, Run with the Pack. Now this one had some water damage down at the bottom, but it didn't mess up the inner jacket, it didn't mess up the LP, so I went ahead and got it. I got it at a thrift store for like $1. So this one is on, let's see, yeah, there's the album. As you can see, the album looks like brand new. This next one is another Bad Company album. I forgot the actual name of the LP, but it's a dual LP set. I just have this one. I've seen it for sale other places and I really didn't want to buy it. This one I haven't found it on sale yet at some of the other places. Bad Company, Desolation Angels. Swan Song LP label. I know this isn't the actual complete set of the LPs, but I haven't found one at the thrift stores or anything, and I don't want to pay full price for the LP. That's why I don't have it. Beethoven. You got to have some classical music, you know, if you're going to be into any kind of music at all. Every once in a while you get in the mood to listen to something. You don't want to hear all that beating and banging on the drums and the electric guitar with somebody squealing their heads off. So you get Beethoven. This is the Chicago Symphony Orchestra and Chorus. It's got symphonies 1 and 9 on it. Just something peaceful to listen to. And of course you got to have the Beach Boys. This is the one that came from the As Seen on TV LP that you could order off TV. This is Beach Boys Super Hits. 18 original hits. Huh? And of course, there's no collection worth a hoot if it doesn't have at least one Beatles album. And of course, everybody knows this album cover. It's Abbey Road. Try not to let you see the ones behind it. This is on the EMI label. And next up, like I said, I don't really care for this next LP set. It's got a couple good songs on it, but I don't see why everybody feels the need to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on it. But it's the Beatles' White Album. Now this is not an original. This is a redone one. It's not the original one. As you can see, there's no serial number down here in the bottom right. So if you're ever going to look for a Beatles, the White Album, and you're planning on buying it, especially if it's pricey, make certain that it has the serial number down in the bottom. Otherwise, it's not a real deal, it's a fake. And I don't have the jacket cover to this one because it was all messed up. But this is the Beatles' second album. It's on Capitol Records. It's got some, let's see. It's got Long Tall Sally on it. I Call Your Name. Please Mister. Stuff like that. Yep, gotta have some Bee Gees too. I mean, I was born, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, I was born in the 60s. My main childhood memories and everything are from the 70s and 80s. So yes, I was there for the whole John Travolta Saturday Night Live thing. I was there for the Back to the Future thing. Yada, yada, yada. So you gotta have some Bee Gees, right? And this is their Spirits Having Flown. It is actually on, see if I can pull it out real quick, the RSO label. And next up is another one that I found at a thrift store. This is the Bee Gees' Greatest. This is actually a promo edition. Let's see which one it's on. It's still on the RSO too. And as you can see, top right, loan for promotion use, not for sale. So it's got a lot of their hits on it, like Jive Talking, Night Fever, Tragedy, you know, stuff like that. How Deep Is Your Love, all their greatest hits. And then up next, I don't have a bunch of country and a bunch of bluegrass in my collection, but Bill Monroe and God, I can't remember his name. Used to live right down the street, but him and Bill Monroe used to play together. So I have this one because he was actually on the LP. He's actually a friend of my wife's family, if you will, per se. So this is why I have this one. I think this is my only Bill Monroe LP I have. It's on the MCA label, Bill Monroe and Friends. And this is what I was saying about the way I put my stuff in order. Billy Joel. No self-righteous music collector is worth a hoot if you don't have at least one Billy Joel album. In my case, I have several. I like a lot of his songs. Just as I like Bruce Springsteen, a lot of his songs and stuff, you know. I'm not an aficionado of each and every one of them. I can't tell you which one ever, you know, every song off this particular LP, when it was made and all that. I'm not that deep into them, but I do like them. This is Billy Joel's Piano Man on the Columbia label. And then we have the Billy Joel Songs in the Attic album. And this one is actually on the Columbia label. Next up, we have Billy Joel The Stranger. And it took me a while to get this album cover. You know, a lot of the reasons that we as vinyl collectors, we love the jacket art, we love the album art and everything. And it took me a while to really get this cover. And I think I have a grasp on it and an understanding of it, but it's still kind of odd if you really look at it for the first time. It's like, what in the world? And I'll get my lighting and stuff set up better. I'm just doing this in my my room where I have my computer and everything set up right now. You know, just playing around with stuff. This is where I have all my records. No need carrying them from one room to the other. That's how damage starts. This one is on the Columbia label as well. Next up, we have Billy Joel, 52nd Street. Most of your collectors will have the Billy Joel 52nd Street. So it's nothing rare, it's nothing special or anything. But I actually found these at a yard sale. They were 50 cents a piece, this particular one and the one behind it. One LP is in a better shape than the other one, and the other one has a better jacket than and cover than the other one. So I actually have two of them. And let's see if I can see which one this is on. This is on the Columbia label as well. Next up, and the B section of my collection is one of my largest sections, so you're going to have several. Billy Joel Glass Houses. Now to me, this is actually one of his better albums. A lot of people would argue and say 52nd Street is better. To me, this LP is actually a little better. It has some of his better music on it. And this also on Columbia. Now, as I show you my albums, and I won't mention it every time, sometimes you'll see new inner jackets. And that's one of two reasons. The first reason is it didn't have one. You know, I get a lot of my LPs and stuff at yard sales, flea markets, thrift stores. So it's possible it didn't have one. Either that, well, I'll say three reasons. Either that, or it's because the inner jacket was so nice I didn't want to mess it up as I play the albums. Or, you know how it is, the corners will be torn from people just dropping records down in and letting them bottom out. So, when you see a new jacket liner like this, that's the reason why. Or one of three reasons why. Next up, Billy Squier. Yep, got to have the stroke if you're going to have any kind of classic rock in it at all. That's he's not a one-hit wonder, but that's the one song that he is known for. And I got lucky. I've got this one, and it's the Don't Say No, and I've got that one, Don't Say No also. The difference between this one and now, that one is unopened, never been opened. So you flip it around, there's a nice picture, gives the name of the songs, Into the Dark, or In the Dark, The Stroke, My Kind of Lover, yada yada yada. Produced by Mac and Billy, but it's on the EMI label. But I was lucky to find this one, because I don't know what happened to all the Billy Squier LPs, but here on the East Coast, they're kind of hard to find. And I got lucky enough to find one that was unopened. Bobby Brown, yeah, I know. But like I said, I'm a product of the 60s, so my growing up time was the 70s and 80s. And back in those days, you know, Boys to Men, Bobby Brown, NSYNC, stuff like that was the popular music. And then this is one of the biggest hits of all time in his career, Don't Be Cruel. So that's why I have it. It's the 45 RPM 12-inch single on the MCA label. Next up, Bob Dylan. We've got Bob Dylan's greatest hits. And as I've said about several of the LPs that you've seen today, if you're going to call yourself a record collector, you've got to have a Bob Dylan. You know, I am not a huge Bob Dylan fan. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I'm not. I don't like his voice. I just don't. I don't like the way he sounds. But there are a couple songs on this particular LP that do sound pretty good and that I can actually listen to. It's on the Columbia Stereo label. Next up, Boston. Who doesn't like Boston? I mean, no matter where you go, when you see that ship, even if it didn't have Boston on it, when you see that mothership, you know what band that is. It's instantaneous. You know, it's called marketing and media. You just know it. And besides, they make really good music too. This particular one is on the Epic label. And then now we get into some Boz Scaggs. Boz Scaggs is one of those guys, he's kind of like coon hunting. You know, going out in the middle of the woods at night chasing raccoons through the forest with your dogs howling. You either love it or you hate it. There is no in between. For me, I'm not a great Boz Scaggs aficionado like the Beatles and stuff like that, but I do love his music. I love the way he sounds when he sings and everything. I don't love every single song, but I do love him. It's not a hate relationship on my side. This particular one is down 2, then left. Kind of like giving instructions, go down 2 streets, turn left. Here's the back of it. And I found these at the thrift store also. This is on the Columbia label. I found this one, which has some wear and everything on it. And the jacket has the ring wear and everything. And I found that one a little label on, later on, which is in better shape overall. So that's why I have 2 copies. Next up, Boz Scaggs Hits. Again, you either love them or you hate them. That's all I can pretty much say about that. This particular one is on Columbia. Now, I'm not a real hard rock, acid rock, punk rock, garage band rock type of person. You know, I could go on and on and on. There's so many different genres out there now that they've had to give them their own sections. But Black Sabbath, everybody's got to have at least one Black Sabbath. And this is mine. You know, it's way back in the days before Ozzy was by himself and all that good stuff. Spin around so you can see what it is. This is the Sabotage LP. And I forgot what label they're on. And I'm not going to pull it out right now. I think it's Warner Brothers, or Warner rather. I can't swear to it, so don't shoot me. But I'm not going to pull it out right now to find out. I'm trying to get this video done for you guys and not make it 45 minutes long. Next up is one of the wife's LPs, Blondie. Like I said, you're going to have to look at it. We're a product of the 80s, you know, the 70s and 80s. What can I say? She's a big Blondie and Stevie Nicks fan. There you go. Let's see, Blondie's Eat to the Beat, which is kind of a funny title. I never did get that one. And it's on the Chrysalis label, however you want to say it. And then we get back to mine, Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I dare you to find any classic rock collector that says they don't have a Blood, Sweat, at least one Blood, Sweat, and Tears LP in their collection. And this one's pretty cool because it's called, oh god, Over His Father to the Man or something along that lines. I can't remember, but it's pretty cool because each one has their own little mini-me. And this is back before mini-me became popular on Austin Powers movies. Heck, who knows, this might even be where Austin Powers mini-me thing came from. Somebody was sitting around drinking their glass of adult beverage one night and was listening to the LP and saw the album cover and said, hey, that's a cool idea. I don't know, I doubt it, but I'm just saying. But anyhow, this is on the Columbia label. And again, my taste in music is wide. I don't limit myself to just one type of music, but this is a bluegrass for collectors. It's got a lot of different people on it. It's a bluegrass celebration. It's on the RCA label, and it has Bill Monroe on it, Riley Puckett, Charlie Monroe, a lot of greats. It's on the RCA label, and I just happen to like the music. Blue Oyster Cult. Who does not like Blue Oyster Cult? If you don't, something's got to be wrong with you. Nah, I'm just kidding. You know, people's taste in music is wide-ranging. Some people love a particular band, but they don't. Just like some people love Aerosmith, but they don't like classic rock. You know, it's kind of like loving a hamburger, not liking ketchup. But this is the Blue Oyster Cult. This is their Secret Treaties. And it is on See if I can make it out. The Columbia label. I know that's not the right inner jacket. That is just one that I had extra and threw it on there. Very, very cool album art because I am actually into planes, aeronautics and stuff like that. So, but there you go. Blue Oyster Cult. That's Blue Oyster Cult. That's the only one of them I have. Next up, Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band. Back in the day, you could not get away from two things. And now when I say back in the day, I'm talking about the 80s. Couldn't get away from Bob Seger music, and you couldn't get away from Coors Light beer. I don't know why that is, but Coors Light advertisement was all over TV. And anytime you went into a nightclub, a school dance, driving down the road and windows down, Bob Seger music was being played. But I actually do like some of his music. This one is on the Columbia label. This is his Night Moves. Then we have Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band, 9 Tonight. Which is actually on Capitol. Got the Capitol label on it. And like again, I'm sorry I don't have it set up for proper lighting and everything. This is just something spare the moment while I was dealing with Hurricane Florence that I figured I would do. Next up, we have a boxed set of 5 LPs. Who is that you are under? The one and only Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band. All of these were recorded live from 1975 to 1985. Let me get it spun around so you can see it. Who is it on? Columbia Records. I mean, it's got pretty much all of his biggest hits done live. Thunder Road, 4th of July, Spirit in the Night, you know, all the great stuff. Well, I was lucky enough to find these. This is actually from 1986, and I found this at the thrift store. In my local thrift stores, they don't charge you by the amount of LPs that's in the box. This box could have had 100 LPs on it, and it would still cost me the same price, 99 cents, where I bought this one. So I could not mess up. I mean, come on. Bruce Springsteen box set. I mean, it's not in perfect shape, but it's not going to be in perfect shape when I go either, because I listen to my LPs. I don't sit around and polish them and buff the outer jackets and stuff like that. As you can see, I handle them. I listen to them, I slide them, I beat them and bang them, you know. That's what they're for. Enjoy them. But next up, Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. It also is on the Columbia label. It's, like I said, it's got some of the songs on it from the box set I was just talking about. Thunder Road, Backstreet's Born to Run. It's got that on here. Really cool album. Something that you can listen to and not get bored with and not want to jerk off the turntable, you know. Next up, another Born in the USA Bruce Springsteen LP. Yeah, I know. They're everywhere. Everybody has one. I got one. I mean, how can you not hear the first 10 seconds of that song and not know who sings it and not know the name of the song? You know, it's just there. Like you can see the Mustang on the Mustang car emblem and know that it's a Ford. You can see the big bow tie and know that it's a Chevy. You know, the big gold bow tie. Know that it's a Chevy. That's just the way the world is. And this is no different. You hear that ba ba da ba da ba, and you know it's Bruce Springsteen, Born in the USA. Next up, Bread. And no, we're not talking about sandwiches. We're talking about the group, the band. This is on the Electra label, and this is Best of Bread. And as if you noticed within my LPs and everything, I don't even have them in chronological order, in the order of the years they were released and everything. I am not that type of collector. I am the type of collector who loves the music. I love the albums, the album covers, everything there is about it, the holding it, putting it on the turntable, dropping the needle on it, you know. That's who I am. I care less about the other stuff. Those people that do, more power to you. I love the fact that you do that. It shows passion. It shows who you are. Me, I enjoy the music. The Best of Bread on Elektra. Next up, another promotional copy off of Elektra, Bread, Lost Without Your Love. Really cool album cover. And the main thing that caught my eye about it when I flipped through, I saw the promotional cover, the promotional label. So then I had to check, and yes, it was actually a legitimate promotional copy. Promotion copy, not for sale. So I immediately bought it because number one, I know I like Bread's music, and number two, promotional copy is just a little step up above from the regular commercial. Does it sound better? No. But you know, promotion copy was given to CEOs of record companies. It was given out by CEOs, by record companies to families, friends, special guests, stuff like that. Plus it was given out to DJs and stuff for them to use, but they wasn't supposed to resell it. But they ended up getting in our hands anyway. If you ever find one, this is the best tip I can give you about promotional copies. A lot of them are fakes. They really are. You know, you can buy promotional copies, stickers off of eBay and stick them on anything. So if you ever see one, always open it up. Make sure that it is also on the inner cover, the label itself on the LP. Okay? And then you can even check online to see if promotional copies of that song was made. But once you find one, always take it out and look at it, because, you know, radio stations and stuff back in those days, they didn't care how they handled the records. Next week would be another hit, and they'd quit playing this one anyway. So always check it. Make sure there's not scratches all over it. Make sure there's a lot of wear from sliding it in and out of the jackets. Scratches and wears from the needles being too heavy and stuff, you know, because let's face it, nobody cared back then. Like I said, next week would be a new hit, out with the old, in with the new. But there's that Bread promotional copy, Lost Without Your Love. Next up, Bryan Adams. I know it's supposed to be an A for Adams, but I don't do it that way. This is his Reckless album. And let me flip it around, see if I can see who it's on. A&M. Again, I have two copies. One's opened for me to play with, listen to, handle, throw around as I want. That one, brand new, still in the shrink wrap and everything. So that's why I have that second one. This one, it's got one or two songs on it that I really like. Mostly, I like his style of music, not necessarily his songs. But a couple of his songs that I do really like his Cuts Like a Knife song. Everybody knows Cuts Like a Knife, which happens to be on that LP. That's probably the one song that he is known for, Cuts Like a Knife. He's more, this is just me saying this in my honest opinion, he's more like a nightclub type of musician, player, singer, rather than a mainstream singer. Works very hard, I mean very, very hard, but it couldn't seem to get over that stereotype. Next up, another Bryan Adams LP, Into the Fire. This one I have not listened to, it's still sealed. I haven't brought myself to open it. But I do have the cassette. Yes, I have cassettes too, hundreds of them. But I've listened to the cassette. I haven't brought myself to open the LP yet. But this is on the A&M. A&M also. Next up, Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly, for those that don't know, Buddy Holly was way, way above his day in sound and in music. Buddy Holly was, let's see, a 3-piece band when he first started out. But he sounded like a full concert. The way that he and his band did the music, his voice would carry and bounce off of everything. It was like he carried his own acoustic studio with him. but his band sounded much larger, the sound sounded much larger, and his music overall was way ahead of the time for the day. I mean, come on, Peggy Sue. Who doesn't know Peggy Sue? You can watch any movie, especially a love movie, and Peggy Sue's gonna be on that bad boy. There you go, Buddy Holly. And he is on this particular one. It's a 2 LP set, or Decca. And it's a shame that happened to him because, you know, he was really in the prime of his career and everything, and then ended up getting killed in that plane crash trying to go somewhere in a storm. Never a good idea. Planes and storms don't mix. Next up, another Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly's Greatest Hits, Coral record label, enhanced for stereo. How can you not like that? Enhanced for stereo. But again, it's got Peggy Sue, Bo Diddley, all that good stuff on it. Come on, but everybody gotta love some Buddy Holly. This next LP I seen, well, I didn't see, I heard on a movie, and well, let me back up. I heard it on the classic rock stations. Then I heard it on a movie, and then I said, you know, I gotta search out that LP one day. I just got to. And then I went to a yard sale, and boom, there it is, Buffalo Springsteen. Buffalo Springfield, dang it. I mean, come on, who doesn't like that song? Hey, stop, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going around, you know? I mean, it's just a... Buffalo Springfield, I wouldn't say is a very well-known band. They wasn't huge back in the day, but that one song made them huge. Let me pull it out real quick. Atco label. And I think I have one more. And if you're going to be any kind of classic rock collector, here you go. Those are Birds. The Birds is kind of, I don't want to stereotype them, but they're kind of like a psychedelic acid trip rock band, if that makes any sense. Because let's face it, their lead singer was high most of the time when he came up with the sounds and everything for most of these songs. Mr. Tambourine Man, you know, that's a killer song. Chimes of Freedom, that's a great song. And this is on the Columbia Records label. I'll get my talk straight. I'm trying to think, talk, and read at the same time. But yeah, the Birds' Greatest Hits. Like I said, it was back in the late 60s when everybody was doing acid and free love, and way before my time. I was born in '66, so I didn't get to enjoy all that. But there you go. That's the section of the B's that I have. Like I said, this is on the Columbia Greatest Hits. So don't miss out. I will be doing the C section very, very shortly. But that concludes my vinyl collection for today. I hope you enjoyed it. What do you have in yours? You know, do you have any of these? What's your favorite out of the ones that you've seen out of my collection? You know, let me know what's up. Stop by and say hi by all means. I appreciate each and every one of you coming. Thanks, and I'm going to get back to the hurricane, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. Thank you so very much.